Hi, Warlock. Welcome to Thursday night's Airbrush Down to Dirty Tricks. It is Thursday, it's a little late, 8:30. We're going to do a little time crunch today. I tried to do something cool because it's that time of year, we're getting a little cooler, we're getting that fall up here in New England. And we get it a little faster than some will. So I'm starting to get the Halloween buzz, and I'm starting to see decorations. Actually, decorations have been in the stores a little too long, if you ask me. But I decided today, I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to go and grab a bunch of cool stuff in spirit of Halloween and start prepping it in tandem tonight. So I get all the way up to New Hampshire, in my house where it usually is, and it's not open, it's not there. I'm like, damn it. So I went to Lowe's, nothing cool. Went to Home Depot, nothing cool. Like, well, there is one a few towns up, so I'll drive up there. And I get up there, man, they had nothing. They had nothing I wanted to paint, nothing really cool. It was a smaller spirit of Halloween, so I'm not going to give up. Yes, happy Friday the 13th Eve. That's kind of what got me going on doing the Halloween stuff. So, hey Mom, Mom's over on Facebook. Music is still on. Yep. Music is still on. Oh wow. Let's go off. That should kill it. Yeah. Hopefully that kills it. The intro track is playing. Okay, so that should be gone now. If it isn't. Okay, good. Sorry about that. So, I went to Spirit of Halloween and it just wasn't it just wasn't great. There was nothing cool to do, nothing fun to do, and I was a little bummed. So that was some running around, so it pushed me back a little late. So I got here and went, still in that mood, and I started looking up things, and I went to, I almost did Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm like, that would be cool. I just started looking through different images, and then just going through my library of stuff. Hey Chris, welcome to Massachusetts. Hope you had a fun drive in. So going through my library, you know what? I need a little drink. Might need a Halls. And I came across a whole file on Frankenstein. So let me switch this up here. And the classic Frankenstein. I'm like, you know what? I've never painted it online. I've never painted it live. So, I've actually only painted it once in my life. I've only painted it once on a motorcycle. And that was years ago. And I figured, you know what? Why not do it live? Why not paint it live? Have some fun with it. Do a classic. Do a nice black and gray. You know, really make it nice. Oh, Raph, I always forget you down Cape Cod. You have to pop up sometime. Yeah, I think, Chris, you're about 45 minutes. You're in, or I think he's in Natick area or that area. You're probably about 45 minutes to an hour from where I'm at. This would make a good e-learning class. Yeah, this would be. It's a classic image. And the cool thing is, it's got some really good block shading in it. So if you look at the photo reference to the left, what I did, I wish I had my computer hooked up that I could show you what to do. So all you do is you take the photo, bring it into Photoshop, go up to image, what is it? I'm going to look really quick. Yeah, so what you do in Photoshop is you go up to the top row, you click on image. Yeah, it's posterized. You go to image, and then what I typically do is I convert it to black and white. So change the mode to black and white. Get rid of all the color data. You have a better result with what I'm telling you to do. Then what I do is I go to image adjustments, and I adjust the curves so I get a really nice black and white. Not too oversaturated. You can also put the contrast. I get all that done first. And then what I do is then you go image, adjustments, posterize. In posterize it does this. If you look at the sorry, the one all the way to the right, that image is 2-color posterize. It takes the darkest dark and the blackest, the whitest white. It basically creates like a stamp stencil. The one in the middle is like a 5-layer, so it's a 5 gray. So what the 5 gray does, it gives you multiple layers. So let's show you these a little bigger. So that's a solid mask, which that'd be cool. Great for reference where your main shadows is. That's all your main stuff. When you go here, we have multiple grays. You have your white, you have your dark. But you have in between, so you have like the eyebrow, but you have the whole eyebrow ridge. So you see how that gives you more data. This gives you the whole block out shape. And this gives you more. And this gives you more of the cheek. And it gives you all the different things. Lindsay, you can do the same thing, like Warlock said. You can do it with GIMP. You can do it with Corel. Damn it. You can do a Corel. There's a whole bunch of different programs you can do it in. And there's some other programs that do it as well. For you guys who do masks and stuff, if you're using Illustrator or something like Illustrator to create a stencil, what I've also done is you go to 4 colors. And in Illustrator, you can actually separate each color and make a mask for each color. Which this is, those multi-layer stencils that people make where it's like 4 or 5 different layers you just lay on top of each other? This is how they do it. They break the photo down to 5 or 6 colors, which makes 5 or 6 stencils. They separate each one out to its own layer, and they create a stencil for each one. That's how they're made. So, conversation is going to be light tonight, guys. I'm going to do what I can. Do this cough sounds. I haven't even had any bourbon in 2 weeks. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, speaking of bourbon, I gotta give a big shout out to Gary. Gary sent me a nice little gift today. And he's right. Bourbon makes it better. Very cool shirt. Dig it. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. So typically, you send me a shirt, I'm probably going to wear it. unless I can't for some reason. Alright. I use a little crowd draw. Yeah. I use Photoshop because I like Photoshop and I've had it forever. But I'm not a Photoshop snob or purist. There's a lot of amazing programs out there. So we're going to do my favorite transfer technique, which everyone should know my favorite transfer technique. Well, I got the halls kicking. It should help. So what I'm going to do first, this is the other thing I did. Going to this panel, all I did was I scuffed it, I taped it, I sprayed white down, and then I sprayed, man, my throat sucks. So sorry. So I sprayed GraFx white, the Wicked Opaque, kind of light, and then I spritz isopropyl alcohol, and that gives you all these little, it reacts to paint and makes it spread out, but it dries really quick. Then I did some water, which makes it really wet, which you get the bigger spots. And I just let that dry. And so what I did is I just used a heat gun and air and dried it a little faster. Oh, honey, thank you, thank you, thank you. 13 months. Franken who? And then I went over it again and just did another couple of fades. It's a really cool look. It's a nice way to start a painting, and it's a good way to do water-based texture. Because like when I do Mike Manning. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And I have to check, for some reason your name bounced off the rolls this week. I think there might be something wrong with the list, but before I get too far in, let's give a shout out to all our members, including Mike Manning, who's not on the list for some reason, or I copied it over wrong, but and all our gold skull people. I was doing gold and red. It was getting too hard to figure out which is which. So when you get gold, I'm going to give you your gold skull status. So thank you all. And that's all people who've been on for a year or more. So I think most of you like 13, 14 months. So thank you very much. Much, much appreciated. It helps this channel grow and grow and grow. And if you're not a member and you want to become one, up in the top right hand corner, you can click that QR code, take a picture of it, sign up. And that is going to give you my thanks and I think we're at 20% off everything in McKayFineArt.com. Yep, everything in this. You can go here. All my downloads, all my vectors, all my pattern sets, everything, you'll get your discount. And we got some other stuff coming. Let's not forget all the lovely products we use here. And let's get this shindig going. I'm going to do this as a black and gray style piece, okay? So what I've done for paint, just like when you see tattoo artists do it, I mixed up 3 different blacks. I did a gray and a white. Tattoo artists a lot of times do more. I did a candy black. I did a transparent black. And then I did a opaque black. So I have 3 different blacks here for 3 different stages and how I want the coverage. Yeah, most of Gold Skulls were the first month. And you stay the whole time, and I really, really appreciate it. It's very beneficial. It helps. Alright, so, first thing first. Super soft pencil. 4B, 6B, something like that. Give it a good old transfer on the backside. When I did the motorcycle a while ago, I did. I would like to do a bride. Maybe I'll do a bride at some point. The bride's actually pretty easy, but also hard. It's the one thing about the bride is she doesn't have all the facial like ticks and marks, so you got to be dead on with everything. Which is the trick about doing female portraits or young people portraits versus old. Old people and men usually have a lot of features and muscle and like, you know, skin or wrinkles and things like that you can work off of. Just like this guy has a lot in the face, a lot of different textures to work off of. You can kind of hide behind it a little bit or connect to it. The bride's a little harder, but when you get it right, she's actually pretty fast to do. Maybe I'll do that. So get it all on there. You can go more or less, or you don't have to go too nuts. Doesn't take long. And then I usually just take off the excess or kind of rub it in to the rest of the paper. And this tends to help. Alright. We got our panel. We got this. 11 by 17 fits right inside. It's 12 by 18 panel, 11 by 17 paper. That's what I've done. And then let's do a transfer. Best way to do a transfer, use pen. And if you want to use Sorel paper, you can use Sorel. If you want to use if you want to use graphite paper, you can use like a graphite type paper. Either way you use a pen. Okay. The one cool thing about doing Frank is you can actually break down all the big. You can see the big shadows, but you can also see this shadow actually casts a shadow all down here. It actually frames his face really nice, which is really cool if you pick that out. You can establish him really, really quick. So I'm not putting any marks in the white area. I'm just putting them around kind of where I need, and I don't overdo it. Yes, you got to make sure it's wax free. You should make sure it's wax free. Oh, that might not be dark enough. I was just gonna say it's really important to check your work. I can't see it. Aha. So I didn't put enough. You know what? Let's do the 6. Yeah, you could use, I don't like using charcoal powder that much. You can. You can. Just I wouldn't use stick charcoal, like, you know, like the wood stick, like loose stuff, because I think that's held together by some stuff. You might have some paint contaminant problems. I have a, like a jar here of charcoal for, which basically is, it's graphite charcoal that's been broken down. I having problems with charcoal. Just be careful with it, or maybe do a test. Yeah, definitely wax free. You don't want to use a lot of like carbon. A lot of carbon papers have wax in it, so you got to be careful. That's why Sorel paper is nice, but I find Sorel papers, I want to say it's waxy, even though it's not. It's really chalky. It leaves a very thick. It leaves a very thick process behind, which if you're really careful, yeah, powder guy goat works because there's graphite. What was I just saying? I lost it. Oh, what I was saying with the Sorel. Sometimes you put the Sorel down. It puts such a thick thick amount of its material down, that you'll paint it and you'll wipe it down, and the Sorel, what it transfers, will come off, and you end up with, like, if you're on a black panel, you spray white over the top of it, lightly, and then you give it a wipe down. A lot of times you'll take the white paint and that material off and have a really black line underneath, which can be fun to mess with, but... But, you know, it's not something, you know, sometimes it really messes it up, basically what I'm trying to mutter through. Charcoal is expensive, yeah. But you can get big things of charcoal at some artisan craftsman supply store. And I have one here somewhere. Although I can't seem to dig it up. Anyway, alright, let's check this again. Okay, I can see it now. And of course, this is the classic Frank. Well, Frankenstein's monster, if you want to be technical. This is the Boris Karloff one, which actually met his daughter before at a couple conventions. We sat next to her at a convention. She was really cool. Really fun. So I'm just going to mark out all the basics, all the structure. Like where your light shading is, you don't want to put heavy marks. So if you want, you can just do little dots. I use a medium point. It doesn't really matter. The nice thing about a medium or fine point, the best thing about a pen is it's going to be a consistent line. That's the only reason I really use it. If you use a pencil, your lines get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker along your way. Pen, it just stays consistent. This is also really cool if you want to just do all freehand afterwards and not do the paper cut technique I'm doing. You have at it. You can just go right to painting. You know, if you don't want to do, you know, this. If you consider it something cheating. I know this guy's like, I think Fraser's done so many versions of this, he could probably do him without even looking at it, and he's perfect at it, because he's done so many. Some guys have painted this a lot. It's one of those things, I never painted a lot. Like in my whole career, I've only painted a version of the Death Dealer once. You know, or something similar. I've never done a lot of them, just never really came up. Actually, I did have a really ultra high res image of this somewhere. Like you can see, it was like a professional makeup shot of this same photo that most people get, but it's usually not as... This is usually the one you find online. But I have one, I just couldn't find it in time, where you can see every pore of her skin and the makeup. It's really awesome to work off of. And I know a good friend of ours in the industry is no longer with us. Steve Driscoll is a huge horror nut. And he actually has one of the life castings of Boris Karloff for this Frankenstein. I think he's got like a profile casting. It's awesome. It was really cool. remember him showing me pictures of it. I was like, it's crazy. So what's new with everyone? I know Chris is up here for some panel jam event. I tried getting some info, but I don't have any info where it is on Saturday. Chris, let me know if I can get any more details on it. I messaged Hot Rod Jen, but I don't think we're connected on Instagram, so she probably didn't see my message. See if you can get me the time and location of it, and if I'm around, which I think I will be Saturday, I'd like to swing in, and maybe I'll bring a panel and donate it, if that's still available. I saw what it's for, and you know, I always like to be part of stuff like that. So message me afterwards, more detail, like when and where it is, and I'll see if I can make it on Saturday to it. I think you said it was Saturday. Yeah, I think I'll be around tomorrow evening. So I think I'm good. Everything there, and the neck comes down. Full shirt, neckline, black. Yeah, she's great. I think we've met each other a couple times, or been at the same event like SEMA and things like that, but we just never connected. Her work's awesome. And it's one of those, for some reason, just because what it was, I never get to the Syracuse Nationals, because I'm always either doing some Sturgis, or I've gotten done with the bike season, and by the time that show comes up, I'm burnt. But I think next year I gotta make it out to Syracuse. There's just one show I've never made it out to. So cool. I think that pretty much does it. Everything's there. Yep. Everything is there. So now what I can do, if you don't want to use the posterized one, you don't have to. But I'm going to see if the posterized one lines up. So I'm going to cut a little bit. I'm going to see what lines up here. Oh, and my other venture, still trying to come up with the name for the other channel. I think I'm getting closer, maybe just settling with tabletop and model down and dirty tricks, or you know, like minis and modeling down and dirty tricks or something like that. But I've been working on some guys for it, so these would be kind of cool. And this one, the one in the middle, is cool because I'm going to show you how to use fluorescent. Because if you look at this one, see how it glows? These ones don't. This one glows under fluorescent black light. So it's going to be a real ghostly kind of cool thing. So yeah, I have a shop on I have a closed shop where my booth and stuff is, and then I have my studio here at the house where I do this. So, yeah, we can definitely set something up. Alright, so I want to cut these basics, the basic darks. And this is always the time-consuming part. I don't get too religious with it. I get close to the shade because I don't blow a lot of paint in when I do this. And you're not, when you're cutting this black in, you're not spraying it 100% black. You're just spraying it light for registration, and then you're gonna do everything freehand afterwards. You're really just doing this for tone and placement, and it speeds things up a little bit. It keeps your registration clean. What's going on, man? Yeah, I had a big shop years ago, full shop, and I got rid of it. And now I just use it when I have to clear and do body work and stuff like that. So someone else has the shop now, but the booth is still there, and I use it when I need it. But most of my stuff now, I just handle the artwork, so I got rid of the whole full commercial shop thing for that type of use. Good there. Where down the Cape are you? We used to spend a lot of time down in Marston's Mills area. My wife's family had a place down there. And like Mashpee and Hyannis, that area. So yeah, when you're doing these, just get the basic shapes cut. You don't have to be like too crazy. That with Mashpee, cool. Yeah, they were in Marston's Mills, which is just between the two. So I haven't been down there in a long time. There's some good breakfast joints down there too. There's one over in Hyannis we used to go to. Periwinkles or something with a P. It's really good. We used to go to Wimpy's for burgers and steaks. I'm very familiar with that area. Well, used to be. I'm sure it's changed a bit in the past 15 years. Oh, cool. Yeah, when he's in town, we'll catch up too. I'm gonna, because when my daughter's going to school now, which is down in Norton, Mass. That's right near Easton, where his stomping grounds is. So I can like double duty next time. I can go see my daughter. When I get to this stuff, I just pick the blade like this. That way you get a non-stencily look, and it kind of hooks. It's like using a texture template. I'm just picking away at it. I learned this trick from Corey St. Clair. I think he nicknamed it cactus cutting, like picking a cactus. And then when you can flip it around and just see what you're getting. You'll see if you're starting to get something resemblance. I know this is like watching paint dry. for you guys, so sorry. This is the point in the video, on the recorded video, where I would just high speed. But that doesn't happen in real life. That's why you can take a 2-hour video and turn it into a 20, 30-minute video. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, my daughter's at Wheaton. She's digging it. I like it down there too. It's a nice area. It's cool. I think there's she said there's a it's not from King Richard's Fair. There's a rodeo which you might go check out. At some point. I'm not going to cut too much of this because I don't want the whole thing to like fall apart too much. You gotta be careful. Sometimes you cut too much and now the stencil becomes too delicate to even deal with. I remember watching Kiwi Terry cut stencils, and man, he would cut them to the point I was like looking at lace. It was so detailed. Oh, I'll leave this for last. I mean, I could go faster. You won't be able to see what I'm doing. I probably won't explain it very well, but... The Killer Clown thing would have been fun tonight too, but... Then you get some people who are just way too sensitive and scared about clowns. There's some hair up there. Okay, we got this guy. We'll cut him. Got Scar. Big squash is happening. Well, sorry about last week too. Yeah, Comcast decided that they were going to work. Well, Xfinity Comcast, they were working on the pole outside our house. And my internet went out. It was like 10, 11 o'clock, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be back on in a couple hours. No problem. We'll be back on before we leave." Like, "Oh, cool." Like 3 hours later, I noticed they're not there anymore, and I'm still out. And I'm like, "I'm probably still working." And it's after 5, and we call someone. They're like, "Oh, we have no outages in your area. It must be your router." I'm like, "No, the router's on. Our Wi-Fi is on. We have no connection outside." I'm talking to Xfinity on the phone. My wife was like an hour to explain to them, "You guys are out here working the line. She disconnected us." "Oh, really?" Blah, blah, blah. And then the next person, it was just a mess. And they're like, "We'll have to send the tech out. They'll come in your house and look." And I'm like, "It's not in the house, but, you know." So, sure stuff. They finally get a guy to come out the next morning. And he looks at it. He's like, he comes right to the door. He's like, "Oh, I need to look at your router." I said, "You checked the pole yet?" He's like, "Why?" I said, "They didn't tell you?" He's like, "Tell me what?" I said that they disconnected me from the pole yesterday and didn't hook. No. He's not a pole guy, so he has to wait for a pole guy. And it was just... it was just a crap deal to deal with. And by the time they got up and running, I couldn't do a lot of stuff I needed to do. So, hence the pushing of the feed last week. So sorry about that. But now we're getting almost like a full stencil, where you'll get everything we need. And if you do it right, you can just keep cutting the stencil further and further apart. And like, Leahy's way cleaner than me when he does it. He gets really tight with it. I just keep it loose. Yeah. And you're not talking to the guy there. He's like, you're not talking to anyone in the U.S. at all anymore, no matter what they sound like. He's like, they're all in India. They're all on the other side of the world, and they don't know what the installers are doing. And it's just really bad. And they said it's so bad that the installer, that's why he came to me first and like just came into the house. I said, did you look at the notes on the thing? He's like, we don't even look at those notes. He's like, because they're usually so wrong, we don't even bother. It's like, well, that's good. That's a way to solve the problem. It was just crazy. Alright, I think that's good enough to get going. Yeah, we'll cut this guy out here lower. That's what some hair is. Oops. Not too much, not too much. Okay. Look at that. See, and you can do a backwards one. But basically, it's, you know, almost looks like the one on the far end. I just didn't do the full cheek cutout. But you could. So now what I'm going to do is, because I have the pencil, I can line that up and make sure everything's... The cool thing is, now that I got a laser cutter, I mean, I could actually laser cut this out of, like, paper now and, like, do a whole... And maybe that's a cool thing to do for a class is I could create temporary paper stencils. I mean, you can do heavy Mylar ones, too, which I'm going to be doing. But for, like, projects, I can make these out of paper and, like, send them out as a class project. Oh, you know, pre-laser cut. If people are interested in that. Mylar would be so expensive to do multiple, but I could do these. If we did like a not like a Drew Blair Classroom in a Box or something along that lines, where you know you had the color list and you got the download, but you also got a file like this mailed to you before a project. That could be something really cool to do. Now I'm just brainstorming some ideas. Alright, let's grab our Takumi. I'm going to grab my Eclipse. I'm just an Eclipse go-to guy. Yeah. 2 to 3 times a week. Oh, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to start with... I have a candy black, and I'll probably use that towards the end for a lot of my blend shading. Then I have an opaque black and a transparent black. I'm going to use my transparent black. And I've lined this up. And see how this, I cut this whole big shape? You know, there's another light piece here, so I don't want to fill that in too much. Yeah, like a Down and Dirty Tricks. Yeah, subscription. Ooh, subscription box. That could be a cool thing. Maybe we do another level for a higher level for subscribers, and that will be like every other month or so. I don't know if we do every month. It'd be a lot to do. We'd have to get a lot. Could do it every month if we had enough subscribers. So that way what we would do is pre-cut, pre-mail, have it all going. Yeah, we'll get it all set. That could be cool. Something to do. Okay. So, now what I'm not, like I said, what I'm not doing here is I'm not spraying like crazy. Because there's a bunch of extra lines in here. If you look in here, let's go top down. So see how inside you can see the nose nostrils? So that's the darkest, but it gets darker outside. So if I had probably went up one more step on the posterize, I probably would have got that separation. yeah, if I had enough people that would do it, because it's a lot of work, and it'd be like an ongoing class, or I would just have to offer the classroom, and enough people will buy it, and then those people have access to. Yeah, maybe I would do that. What if we did it like this? Is I developed the class, the program. You download it, you buy it, you get it shipped to you, blah, blah, blah. The videos will be done live for the people who want to do it live. We'll do it as like a workshop type of thing. And then after that, you could buy it and view the recorded footage afterwards as a class. You know what I mean? So like say the first 10 people to do it live, they do it live. And then after that, it's a pre-recorded edit after the fact. It's just whether there'll be enough people, be enough money and pay for the different. Yeah, that's something I gotta figure out. I hate it's always about money, but it's about money. All right, so when I'm doing this, I'm spraying really light. Okay, really light. So I can still see the texture through everything. So like in here, see how I can spray it? But you can still see the nostrils through it. And you can still see my pencil lines through it, because there's some extra details in there. Now this is just very thin paper. Basically, so get back to this. Basically, we would do a pre-order pre-sale. A pre-order pre-sale of the classroom project, like the subscription project. So we pre-sell them all out, say a month before the live feed. So you would order it. That'll give me time to make them, ship them, get them out to you. Then we would do the live for the guys who pre-ordered it and prepaid, pre-bought it to make it happen. We'd have to almost do like a Kickstarter. And then after that, that would be able to be watched afterwards and purchased afterwards as a cheaper version, because it's not the live one. Yeah, so Lindsay, it'd always be like doing like it's almost like a Kickstarter. Like, everyone pays this, that generates the time. Yeah, that's something that could work. So yeah, just lay this in a little bit, lay it in a little bit, get the texture in here, blah, 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 blah. Pretty simple. So I will do private lessons, Raffin. We could do a setup like we do. I will set up private workshops for certain things. It's a day rate, so it's my day rate times whatever many days the program takes to do. So I have done that in the past. I do offer that. So if you want something like that, you give me a message. Like I said, I still want to do the Adobe Illustrator classes online as like a Zoom. I just don't know if people are willing to pay, because we can only maybe get like 10 to 15 people in the room live. But to do it like 2 hours, everyone would need to pay like probably 25 or 30 bucks. Maybe as much as 40 for like a live 2-hour class. But I'd have to have like 10, because I'd have to make, because again, to do a 2-hour live feed, plus set it up and do everything, I need to make a few $100. Or it's just not worth the time to do it, unfortunately. No, I'm still working on the name. So see, we got a nice almost sketch where everything is, where to go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do layer 2. We're going to cut layer 2. And that'll go on top of this layer, which will then make this layer darker. like, I don't know, would people pay $40 for a 2-hour live Illustrator class through Zoom, with like 15 people or so, 10 to 15 people, probably 10. I'd like to keep it to 10, and just see if that's of interest. Or I'll just put it on my website and try to do a night, and I gotta see if I can put links. I think there's a way I can sell links, like basically sell a time slot. I know Pasture did it, because honey, when we did Pasture's class, we did the sketch night, the nocturnal sketch night. We paid for the spot, and basically you paid your money and you were emailed a download link. I mean, an access link to go to the Zoom call. So maybe that's something. Now I'm trying to do more stuff like that when it's slower, and it gets, motorcycles are definitely slower than they ever were before. So need to do some other stuff. The only thing I wish I could do some of those during the day, but they have to be done obviously for everyone's work schedule. We'd have to do those at night. The question is, if you guys were to do a live stream for, say, Adobe Illustrator, obviously we have to do evenings so people are out of work. Do we do it on a weeknight or a weekend day or like a Friday evening? That's some of the questions. When to do it. Yeah, I should take a few polls. That's why I miss having Kaylee here. I should teach my wife how to come up here and run the board, and she could put a poll up right now. We'll get Kaylee to watch from her dorm. See what I'm doing now? I'm cutting the other gray area. So those are two things I really want to do. Three things. So, because I want to utilize all the stuff I have. Obviously, I'm going to be doing the tabletop channel. That's going to happen. But we need to do something for all the tech stuff in Illustrator that everyone asks for all the time, which I think would be ideal. Yeah, Fridays are probably just the toughest. I'd probably say it would have to be a midweek or Sunday evening. Something like that. That's just kind of, that's what's hard. But I'd like to do it. I'd like to make it happen so we can... The stuff I could teach in Illustrator, which I've been wanting to redo my Plotter Mastery. My Plotter Mastery, the one that used to have the DVD out. I've been wanting to redo that and reshoot it. So... Yeah, for you're an hour and a half. Because we used to turn on the Cape. It was an hour and a half when we went down there with my wife's family. And we can do a multi-day. Okay. Try to keep this together this time. Alright, I think, oh, I'm going to get the nose bigger. So these, basically what I did is I took the two darkest areas out. And you could go, now I'm going to go into here. What, to do this? Oh man, why are you terrified? It's so easy. It's so much fun. It makes your work just... It just makes that registration so much easier. It just takes out the, oh, did I sketch it right? Did I do it by eye right? You know what I mean? It's just... And you could use a thicker paper. I could add this bolt now. I missed it. Well, it's kind of light, but I don't want to cut this because I'll lose this right now. But I can do this one. And I can do the ears last. Okay. And like I said, if you're a freehander, you don't have to go through all this stuff. You could have just done the sketch and gone from there. If you want to do it that way, go for it. I'm doing it this way because it's a real good way for like students to learn and people to learn how to kind of block something out, work from this. So, but see, when you start going too far, this starts coming apart. So you're just gonna have to hold it in place a little, and just don't stress too much about it. Okay. Because I cut that, and that goes there like that. Just remember where you cut. And this one here, you can do a lighter pass, which is going to make what you already did darker. Okay? But just go even lighter. You could even go like a transparent, or you could use the candy now. I'm going to use the candy next, and I'll show you why I'm doing it that way. I think that's good. Thank you, sir. So that's exactly this. So this, when you only have the basics, this helps. But see how now we have the multi-tone? Now we start seeing more shading, more detail. I didn't spray. Oh, I did I? Yep. Okay, good. So you see, now I got all that nice work there. And this is pretty much junk. I'm still going to keep it around because I'm still going to utilize it. But there's a few things I want to do. See this mask where it's like blue and then it stays white? I've always wanted to hit that just right so it almost creates this whole face mask. And I'm going to use the candy blue for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this whole shape. Up to here. Literally this whole piece. And it's one of those things you almost don't see it until you see this. Ooh. That's the one part about putting magnets, is sometimes blades get stuck to it and you end up almost cutting your finger. No bueno. So like I want that out, that out. Probably should have cut that separate. And I want this down here. Make it bright there. See what I mean? It's like this whole area is all in shade. And then I'm going to do another one like this. Okay. Yeah, honey, you can totally do it. You know, and what it does, it allows you to, like, this gives me the I would never, because I'm not that good, I would never pull this painting off live, talking to you and doing all this without doing this method. Because I'd have to be so on to get everything in the right spot. I wouldn't be able to just kind of do this. So what doing this does for you, when you get in this habit of doing it, it takes the foundation, it takes that guesswork out of the placement. Do I have my blocking right? Do I have my, is it symmetrical? Is it, basically, it helps you lock in this. So you're not trying to guess, did I draw it right? Do I know where everything is? It allows you to just freely create an airbrush, and just airbrush. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to hit this right here and there. Good. Okay. Yeah, when you get all kinds of pieces, and you know you're doing something right. Alright, so I'm going to do my candy here, because I want it just to be kind of this. The candy has that bluish purple wash to it, and I kind of like it. Okay, so this is even lighter. But remember, paint stacks, especially when you're doing candies, so everything you've worked on, when I coat this, it gets darker, coat this, it gets darker, so on and so forth. But I don't want to kill it. Now watch what this does, and I've never done this method. But now, look at that, it already gives you the shadow tones of where almost everything is on his face. So right now I have done, this is the biggest benefit, honey, and for people who are either afraid of this technique or haven't ever used it. Remember, just do your file, save it, and you can print it 100 times over. It's always the same size. You just make sure you print the same size, and then, you know, if you ruin a piece of paper, you print another one. Then you print another one, and you print another one, and you go from there. Then all your base structure is done, and you can just paint freely after that. Because you're going to see what I'm going to do here. Once I get this done, there's no more masking, there's no more real paper cutting. I can just freehand to my little heart's content after that. And I know where everything is. And I can just look at my reference. Let's see, I'm coming over here. Now I'm cutting the whole silhouette of them out. The whole silhouette. Just so I know what stays clear, what stays white. I have this for later if I need it. Like I said, if I break it, I can just run another one. You know, I can just go print another copy. But, you know, like I said, I can do a class where I pre-cut all these or pre-laser cut everything, so you guys just have it. And maybe what I can do, going back to that whole method, is I can offer the classes in two ways. I can offer a vector file for those who want to plot. And probably not, because the nice thing about the soft stencils, well, some could be plottable, some not. It's the same thing. So I'm just gonna shade this. I'm just gonna shade here, and this helps me get the whole picture, this whole width of where he is. And now I have everything. Everything's there. So now you can bring up, I think I fixed my reference this time. Yeah, I did. I kept bringing the rhino up every time. So now you have the photo reference. Now I can work from that. And start freehanding. So I can look at my photo, which I've now, I think I destroyed the photo. Did I destroy the photo? Yeah, I kind of did destroy the photo. I'm going to, hold please, I'm going to print a photo really quick. Photoshop open. Sorry guys, be there 2 seconds. Talking amongst yourselves. I'm going to trying to print a reference image that I should have printed. I'm on my computer. Okay, that's printed. Sorry. I'll take a second. We have paused for... Oh, man, I needed that. I needed that thing, and... Okay. Alright, so, I can work from the photo for a little bit. So, you can do this with the candy at this point. Or you can do the illustration, whatever you're more in the mood for. But now everything is set up for freehand. So I can go in and I can hit these dark eyebrows. Yep, the elevator music, exactly. There we go. So, like, you can see it on screen, but I can't see the photo reference. So I need a... I need one. Like I said, I can use a candy black. Let me see if I like the transition black better. Oh, so I just have an Epson 3-in-1 like printer scanner, but it has a 11 by 17 scan deck, and it fits 12 by 18 paper. Like what I could do here. I'll print one out. Let's see full size. There we go. So yeah, so that's a full-size print. And that you can really see all the little details and stuff. Yeah, so I can work from that or the photo paper, photo reference, but it all works. Alright, so like his eyes are really just black. I'm gonna do the black candy. I like it. Third floor lingerie going up. Yeah, so what I got was the Epson Workforce 7720 or 7120 it's a 3-in-1, so it has two paper trays, so it'll do the 8 by 11, it'll do 12 by 18, it'll actually do roll paper as well. And it has 11 and 17 scanning deck. It's bulky, it's big. But for the money, it does a great job, and I've gone through 2 of them in the past, like 6 years, 7 years. But it's the only one I found that does it without going with like a super expensive large format printer, which I don't want. This is just a regular printer. I think it's like $290 for the printer, and it does everything I need it to do. So I'm really just kind of filling in and doing some little detail and kind of looking at the photo. You know, you can use some general texture effects in here now if you want and build a little of that in. But in here is pretty solid. But you can add different textures and let's get a little bit of this. You know, you could take some texture effects into here and just come across the edge a little bit. And see, it gives you all that some nice little textures. It's not exact, but it's close. See what I mean? And you can just really start getting now. This is the white panel. I could also do some erasing, but I'm not going to do that because we'll go to black at this point if we do that. But I brought in a light gray and a white. We'll go in and do that. So here's his eyelashes. But you see just how fast it starts to come together. I made that one eyelash a little too long. He's a little too sexy right there. I'm going to take that out without... Yeah, the Silhouette's a great machine. They do make the 24 now, which is great. Yeah, I got the swirl stencil working good. I'm just trying to dial the machine in. I got a better one out in the shop. So this is good, but I'm getting a little burn on the backside from the fins. So what I've done is I've ordered a 20-watt laser head. So it's got a smaller spot size. I think I'll get less flash than with the 40, and I should be able to start producing the damn things because I've spent all this money on the machine and it's not making me any money yet. So now I can go in and I can kind of follow the reference of what the ear looks like. Oh, and this is also the first time live I'm doing it that I'm using the 40-21 in the candy. And it's working great. And if I want to get this like rough texture look like over here, like I said, I can just blend out that stencil. Like with this, and just kind of and then go really hard right into here. If you want to create that kind of same blotchy texture. Get those skin wrinkles that'll just kind of move the stencil. With that. Oh, I do have that. Yeah, but I've been able to do some cool stuff with the stencil. I like to... Yeah, I've made these, like I made these trays out of basswood for my figures, so I've been making those. And I might start offering these to tabletop players. So like your army gets sorted and they're magnetized. So all your figures stay on a board. So I might start doing these, or offer like basics or custom order trays. So these are kind of cool. Oh yeah, yeah. I used to do the wool the wool and tear stuff apart, and my it still worked good. Take an old Scotch-Brite. If you guys want a cool, quick stencil, Scotch-Brite. Thank you, Mr. Cohen. So check that out. So see, you can see through it. And look, I'll use it right now. We'll go right here in the face. You can go right through and get a little texture out of it. Just like that. Yes, old school, before they manufactured texture stencils. We figured them out for ourselves. Yep. I'm not going to go too crazy here yet. This is pretty much just all black down here. You want to frame them in. Well, the laser cutter is nice because I can actually do pre-planned stuff in actual. Like I tell you, now that I have the machine, like I can literally scan in the skin of a iguana and make a quick template for myself. Making quick ones for yourself are super easy. It's what you got to do for like mass consumption, then you got to play around with it a lot. I'm just going to black this out solid because this is all. If you know how to run stuff through a Cricut and a plotter, you can run it through a laser. They run it on the same basic software. They actually run pretty much the same files. I mean, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but as far as the design process goes, you pretty much run the same file types. You just got to learn different speeds and settings and material thicknesses, but you can also do more than cutting because you can do engraving and cutting and etching and stuff like that. So you can do different stuff with it. Now, the one thing about laser is they are a fire hazard. So you got to ventilate it out. You got to have somewhere for the smoke to go. Like I have mine set up in a garage outside, separate from the house. Fire extinguisher nearby, just to be safe. Yeah, that's, I mean, I do everything in Adobe Illustrator. My plotter, I can cut direct from Illustrator, so I go right to my plotter from Illustrator. Yep, yeah, mine's got a, it's with the fire sensor where it'll shut down. It won't extinguish, but I'm enjoying messing with it. I do wish I probably just bit the bullet and bought an expensive CO2 laser instead of the diode. I think I would have probably had less trouble getting the little details to cut. The diode's great, but I'm definitely trying to push it to a limit. Yeah, if you come across what it is, the capsule, let me know. I know his hair is kind of not just solid black, so we'll do a little bit of it. Oh, it's 10. No, I forgot I did a half hour early. Late. I'm like, oh wow, I'm already over time. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's coming along, it's coming along. No, the Glowforge is supposed to be a great machine as well. I found the X tool. I did the X tool S1. It's a little bit more versatile from what I've seen, a little bit more exact. It's got interchangeable lasers, and you can do one of the interchangeables is an infrared, which would do deep carving, like into metals. So I want that for like motorcycle parts and stuff, because it'll do deep cut metal. So that's on my list, but that's like another... I was going to get it, and then I had to get the 20 watt, so I'll have to hold off a little bit. I mainly got it to do stencils and some things like that, so that's what I'm really working towards on it. Yeah, it's definitely taking shape. I want to get this dark done. I'm going to bring in the grays in a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna do some metal etching designs and candy overlays into some pattern work for SEMA. I'm planning on some of the pieces. I'm doing a mix of both. I've also seen people do art, airbrush a bunch, clear it, or base coat it, and then bring the laser in and eradicate layers. So that's another cool thing I'm going to try. Always working on some new stuff of some kind, somewhere. Yep. Oh yeah, the detail is ridiculous. You can also cut vinyl with it. And now they have on the X tool they make a screen printing kit. You can laser eradicate your screens. So ridiculous detail. Thank you, honey. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this will be a one and done. There's no need to bring this to next week. We're almost there. Oh, you know what I should have done this on? Would have been cool, but expensive. A Lumalor panel. Some of the light up panels. Maybe if I do a bride, that would be cool. Thank you, honey. Yeah, I can have the hair streaks light up and like the lightning behind, and yeah, I haven't done one of those lives in a long time. Last time I did a live Lumalor panel, I was at the World of Wheels. I think Gary might have that live one. I think it was the Chinese Dragon I did. I think I might have done one more before. Oh, this is cool too. So, on Drew's micro dots come in really cool on this. I put them like right against a shadow somewhere, and it adds a really cool sense of skin tone, even like very quick. Oh yeah, that was one. That probably was first piece. One of the earlier World of Wheels days. I missed the World of Wheels. I don't do it up here anymore, really, because the convention center that we did it at basically changed and no longer has the space to do a car show anymore. Alright, let's see about bringing in some white. Yeah, Gary's got the biggest collection. Honey's got a decent amount. Yeah, this is too gray. Oh, I need to go for pure white. Rinse this out, go to white. This car for along. Oh, that's cool. Chip's good people, man. Chip's really good people. Alright, let's do some highlighting, maybe a couple of lightning. Yeah, 36. You probably got, with the panels you got coming to you from here, that might break 40. Well, that includes the ones I'm talking about. I don't remember. Okay. Yeah, see how this white style is going to bring everything up and kind of soften things back. We'll bring these eyelids up. So really watch what this does. This is where you start really seeing the shape come. See how that eyelid just comes forward now? And we'll put some details under here and really get the wrinkles to come out in the face. You could even do a little bit of white texturing in there. And you just see it just really starts to bring out I don't have any of Steve's. Oh no, I have one really amazing original. Actually, I'll show you a really cool piece. It just came back to me because my nephew doesn't have room for it anymore. But you can see how this white now is really starting to bring everything. See how that white just starts really bringing everything forward. Get these staples knocked in. Add a little bit more texture under the head. Well, when you're ready, they'll be here for you. See, he can snag this one. He can just drive up and get it. I think she's looking kind of cool. So at this point, why don't we just have a little fun and do some lightning coming off here. Really bright spot there. It's just practice, man. You know, the thing is, I also did a lot of t-shirts back in my day. That's where a lot of the speed came from. And confidence to just spray. Years of doing t-shirts was a big contributor. And not to get hung up on, like, I'm not a big realism guy. I don't get hung up on over realism. Like, I want it to be nice and believable, and I like things that actually read from a distance. So when it goes in the head. Oh yeah, that's the t-shirt knuckle. That's a callus. Cheese gritstyco. Oh yeah, if I did a slight little purple hue, that would be cool. Like just around the edge or something. Yeah, that could work. That's just about wrapping it up, kids. This one, I think the girl one from last week, that's going to go on the e-store, up for sale, some of the originals, since they didn't sell here. Maybe I'll put a little extra work into these, get them on McKay Fine Art. Or maybe I'll give this away at the Panel Jam this weekend or something. We'll see. See what we're going to do with it. Yeah, so painting on t-shirts is amazing because you can slow yourself down and really work on airbrush control. You don't have to do script lettering to be a t-shirt artist. It helps, makes some money, but other than that, you don't need to do it. Let's put a little signature on this, and I'm going to call it a day. We'll just do a little there. And if I do sell it, whoever buys it can pick the pinstriping watercolor and we'll add it in after. So let's see what we look like. Unfortunately, this whole video didn't record, so I'll record it on YouTube, so that's fine. But my disc, which I emptied, says full, so I must have had an issue with it. And that is tonight's feed. I want to thank everyone for popping in. Sorry about that. It was a really cool project to work on. It shows how to go from a paper print, obviously to transfer it, do your simple paper cut, and set that up beautifully for freehand. Super fun project you do. Works with almost any black and white portrait. It's actually a really great way if you're struggling with painting portraits of people, especially for people. This is the way to start learning. Make a simple stencil, cut out the shapes, block it in softly, and then you have something to work from freehand. It's a really nice way to learn portraits, because that way you're worried about painting things smoothly, not drawing it. You're not worried about proportions. You're not worried about this. Most times people struggle with portraits because, not that they don't know how to airbrush well or shading well, is they're also, aside from worrying about shading, lighting, my paint working good, they're worried about, did I draw right, does it look like the person, do I get everything in the right place, my proportions correct. If you start from a template and use a template for your map out, especially like eye, nose, mouth placement, hairline, ear, major markers on a face, if you have those right, like the eye spacing right, the pupil where they are, the eyebrow to the eye, the nose, if you have all those proportions right, it'll look like the person. You got to get those proportions in the right place. So by using a paper template or cutout, or cutting a stencil or something like that from a portrait reference that you have, just to get it on the board and rough, then all your freehand can work it and make it a really cool piece. All those tricks you've learned, the erasing and the scratching and the shading and the blending and cutting back, you can worry about that instead of worrying about the drawing. So I highly recommend practicing this type of thing. You don't have to use Frankenstein. You can paint anything. I didn't know this trick for a long time until I started getting around a lot of illustrators and guys who are doing automotive customs, like Corey St. Clair, and even watching Drew Blair work, some of his stuff. They'll cut hard stencils for key areas, and there's no difference between cutting a hard stencil at a workshop like that or cutting it by paper or by hand. The end result is going to yield the same result. So I highly recommend picking up and practicing this technique. It'll really, really work. Honey, exactly. Use it as your underpainting. Okay, just get your shot established, and then you can really you can play with your skills at that point and hone your skills. And I could work this for another hour and get more and more texture, more and more detail. I can blend color. If I want to make this a color portrait, I could start doing washes of transparents and just bring it all up to the foreground and start changing it. I could give him a green or a bluish green skin. I could do all sorts of stuff with this one from here. So definitely practice it. It's not cheating. It's a tool. Cutting the steps, work from the photo reference, is a tool. You don't have to be, you look at the photo going, you don't need to be that person and the airbrush artist and the this and the metal guy and the prep and the clear. And you can take a few shortcuts that are going to aid in your process. It's not cheating. It's working smarter, not harder. So definitely mess around with this technique. And I highly recommend finding a program like Photoshop or GIMP that you can take a complex photo, especially even a color photo, convert it to black and white, and posterize it or knock it down to like a 3 or 4 color or a 5 color image. Even helps with your color stuff. Like I've done posterize with color just to block out what the posterizing color does. It gives you your main color values. You can find your darkest reds and your deepest blues or whatever the skin tone. You can find what the skin tone is by doing that. You can find a couple, like 4 or 5 different variants, and now you'll know your color tones. Highly recommend breaking down photos in Photoshop simply to shapes and color, and it's going to help you a lot in the long run. So that is my little speech for the evening. I hope you guys have a great night. I love some of the ideas we talked about some classroom subscriptions and some project subscriptions that you could pre-purchase and kind of pre-order. Shoot me some ideas. Do you want to do this one? And if everyone liked this one, I'd love to make this like a beginner, intermediate level class, and I could send you like 5 or 6 stencils that go with it, or the paper pre-cut, and we can work it out and see how that goes. So let me know, guys. Great seeing you all. See you all next week, Gary. Thanks for the bourbon shirt. Can't wait to drink bourbon again. It's been 2 weeks. I've been on a diet. No bourbon, no sugar, no dairy, no meat. I mean, no, plenty of meat. No dairy, no sugar, no grains, and no alcohol for 30 days. So full reset, and to get myself back on track before SEMA. So we'll see you guys next week, and thank you all for your patronage and your support and your donations, super chats, and your subscriptions. Helps keep this channel rocking. If anyone's interested in buying this painting, give me a shout. I'll shoot you a price. It'd be pretty reasonable. Have a good one.